Since 1930, Bridgepointe Services Goodwill has provided vital services to children and adults with disabilities and disadvantages. Many things have changed in southern Indiana over the years, but one constant has been Bridgepointe's presence in helping people with special needs realize their potential and become independent. The history of Bridgepointe Services Goodwill begins as a tale of two agencies, Goodwill Industries and the Southeastern Indiana Rehabilitation Center, who would eventually merge to form the present-day organization. The Goodwill roots in southern Indiana go back to the Great Depression. In the late 1920s, Helen Krebs Barth combined forces with Reverend William Bartle of Park Christian Church, and in 1930 Goodwill was established in southern Indiana. The first store was located in the old YMCA building at the southwest corner of Main and Pearl Streets in New Albany. In the 1970s, that store was relocated to State Street. Over the following decades, Goodwill began a slow expansion, but a fire in 1978 was a turning point for the agency as it faced closing its doors. The Southeastern Rehabilitation Center stepped in and through a management agreement strengthened the agency and saved it from closing. In 1979, thanks to a building donated by Robinson Nugent, Goodwill relocated to Pearl Street. The 1980s saw unprecedented growth for Goodwill, with state funding awarded to conduct vocational evaluation, job placement, training, and an industrial workshop.
Each year, about 75% of those who enter this program graduate and become self-sufficient through employment in the community.
The Southeastern Indiana Rehabilitation Center was organized in the 1950s in response to the polio epidemics. Several organizations worked together to establish the center. Those included the Crippled Children's Society, Jeffersonville Rotary, Psi Iota Xi sorority, as well as local physicians and business people. The first location of the Rehabilitation Center was on Nahan Lane in Jeffersonville. Then, the Knights of Columbus allowed the center to use a building free of charge. This new location on Market Street in Jeffersonville opened in 1959. Dr. A.L. Roby was the medical director, and the consulting physicians were Drs. S.P. Auerbach and Martin Goldman.
The two staff doctors brief the physical therapists on their findings so that the program outlined for Melody will, in their judgment, offer her the greatest hope.
By the end of 1959, services provided were speech and hearing evaluations and therapy, psychological evaluations, physical therapy, and a preschool.
The hearing test is being administered by therapist Lowell Smith to determine how well Melody can adjust to the world of communication.
In 1960, Marky Rimbold and Idell Reiser started the Little Angels Auxiliary to conduct fundraising and provide volunteers for the Rehabilitation Center.
The Little Angels Auxiliary has raised over $200,000 in support of center services and programs.
The Little Angels opened a thrift shop in downtown Jeffersonville. Their first gift to the center was a wheelchair, and the first volunteer project was providing transportation so that clients could receive services. The auxiliary would continue their association with the center for almost 5 decades. As the Rehabilitation Center added services and clients, there was a need for more space. A capital campaign was launched, and in 1963 a new facility was dedicated. It was located in the country at the intersection of Applegate Lane and Highway 131 on 3 acres donated by Guy B. Smith. The cost of the new building was $125,000. By the 1980s, the Rehabilitation Center was providing physical, occupational, and speech therapies, audiology, social and psychological services, physician clinics, and a child care program. In 1978, a joint venture was proposed between Goodwill and the Rehabilitation Center. The two organizations maintained their independence, but both were managed by the Rehabilitation Center's CEO, Karen Marshall. With the success of this management agreement, in 1984, the boards of the two organizations voted to merge. The merger formed one organization that provided comprehensive medical and vocational services. A period of rapid growth ensued with over 7 additions made to the original building on Applegate Lane. In the 1990s, the board of directors voted to adopt the name Bridgepointe Services and Goodwill Industries of Southern Indiana. By 2007, Bridgepointe Services Goodwill grew to 11 Goodwill stores located in 9 southern Indiana counties. Revenues from these stores help provide a vast array of services. In February of 2007, fire struck again and the Clarksville Goodwill store and main warehouse were destroyed. Construction of a new store and warehouse quickly began. Today, Bridgepointe Services Goodwill provides comprehensive educational, medical, and vocational services for all age groups. For children's services including pediatric therapies, autism services, family support, and a child development center. Middle and high school students benefit from career and leadership programs. Adults with disabilities and disadvantages are served through vocational assessments, training, and job placement. Bridgepointe continues meeting the needs of people with disabilities and disadvantages just as it did during the Great Depression and the polio epidemics. We invite you to become a part of continuing that legacy. Consider giving a gift of your time as a volunteer, donate your gently used items or your used car, or make a monetary gift. Many things have changed in southern Indiana over the years, but one constant has been Bridgepointe's presence in helping people with special needs realize their potential and become independent. Your support will allow Bridgepointe to continue this vital work for generations to come.